Greetings and welcome to Die Dragon Die presents The Titan's Gift, Season 2, Episode 40, The Autumn Aftermath. I am your demon host, Marty, joined by the full crew in Seattle. How is everyone doing on this fine Tuesday evening? Let me unmute your mics and make them toasty like s'mores. Alright, how's everyone doing?
S'mores good with coffee.
Dude, yeah. I'm like craving a s'more right
now. You're very susceptible to food talk, apparently.
Oh, I am. I have no idea.
Last time we mentioned pizza, you're like, I'm ordering pizza right now.
that is the worst habit I've picked up from COVID, by the way, is ordering food.
Mm-hmm.
Not just you, buddy.
So bad at it.
But to be fair, we have to do it, right? Because you've got to support the restaurants and things. I saw Matt comment on something like that.
Not to the extent that I spend.
I could be cooking.
Yeah, I could definitely, deliver some Amazon Fresh, cook some of my own meals, things like that. Now I've gotten to, a low point in my post-COVID world where it's, Sunday morning, and I'm like, yeah, I want some donuts. And then I just, DoorDash some donuts at, 7 a.m.
Yeah.
Nice. It's a bad habit, for sure. Yeah.
Where do you claim the donuts from?
It's just a close by place. I don't remember what it's called. Oh. But if you guys have donut recommendations, by all means, please let me know.
I'll get back to you. I know some people.
I don't have donuts, but oh man, we discovered this really great Italian place that it's just across the hill. If you could call it a block, it's on the other side of the block, but the block is a couple of miles, and it is it is so good. I can't wait to go there.
What's it called?
I forget the name, but man,
it's the Italian joint over there. That doesn't help
Italian
me.
Place over there.
That's the world that we live in now. You have your app, and you're it's the one with the burger on the front, or it's the one with
I just click reorder, and it arrives.
Great
recommendation though, Luke. Thanks for sharing.
Maybe we'll work together sometime.
Yeah, exactly.
My donut place is called Happy Donuts, by the way.
Nice. Are they happy?
They have a maple bacon donut, which is pretty amazing. So yeah, I'd say pretty happy.
That's pretty good.
Donuts are a thing. I'm trying to remember the last time I ate a donut. Might have been at work when they have some.
I thought you were Canadian. What happened?
No, but in Canada, there's a Tim Hortons on every block, every second block.
Right.
You could actually see the Tim Hortons, the next Tim Hortons from the one that you're sitting in, and that means that there's a right distribution of Tim Hortons. And yeah, you have a donut at Tim Hortons. It's what you do.
To be fair, I don't think anybody watching the stream would know that Max was giving you some slack for not having hockey in your screen behind you.
Oh yeah.
He lost all of his Canadian powers.
I just turned it. Well, I'm not allowed to rebroadcast it, right? So I'm respecting the broadcast rights of Canadian hockey.
That is it.
You gotta play by the rules there, eh?
Don't go.
All right, so Max got donuts. Luke, what's going on with you?
Oh, just living my dreams.
How's the reno going in your new home?
It's pretty good. Super dusty. Nobody's been here for a while because you just wait for parts to get in, but stuff's in, so people are showing up again. So that's going. Just having fires, watching PBS. Yeah, eating Italian food. Playing a lot of Shadow of Mordor after work. That's a super old game, but really fun to just murder orcs for a while.
It's not that old, and what I really like about that game, even though I've not played it, but I've appreciated it from afar, is that it generates the quests automagically. It has a quest generator, which is kind of neat.
A really good one. They do a good job, coming across the orc captains, and if one kills you, one of just the rando spawned orcs, he gets elevated to a commanding role, and he has a little character flavor. It's really nice. It's fun to just wander around in that world and kill stuff.
I started watching the Lord of the Rings cartoon, the one from the 80s, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's surprising how many scenes they completely ripped off.
Really?
Well, just the way they presented it and the way that they said it. Of course, it's all based on the book, so I guess not ripped off, but the style of the scene in the cartoon was like very, very close to the style of the scene in the first Lord of the Rings.
Same thing for
Ring.
The Hobbit. There's like a couple of side-by-side stills if you ever go and look them up, where like they just ripped them off one for one.
Yep.
Sometimes when you get it right, you don't have to do it again, guys.
Right. Exactly. And it is such a D&D adventure. It is such a D&D adventure. The whole thing. All of it. The hobbits, it's so like, yeah, we're going to play, keep on playing. And, you arrive at the end, you're like, did the whole thing make sense? Nah, but we kept on playing and ground it out.
I always thought that it was a Dark Sun campaign. Because it's like super low magic. Like their wizard at best summons some butterflies, and like that's it.
Yeah.
His magic is more like spiritual, religious, kind of like the implications of it,
Yeah.
Wiggity stuff going on you don't even know about because you're not a wizard, but
It's definitely a universe where hit dice is a thing. Star Wars is also a universe where hit dice is a thing. Especially if you saw the last episode of The Mandalorian Season 2. You'll know what I'm talking about.
Oh, did you finally watch it?
Yeah. No spoilers. But, yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, it was
pretty good right now too.
But hit dice is a thing, and there are high-level characters in that universe. You got a bunch of 5th through 9th standing around going "durr" while the 20th level character comes in and saves the day. All right, enough of the spoilers. Matt, what's up? What's new with you, man?
Not too much. Working on all sorts of paperwork and whatnot. But we had this thing yesterday. One of the cats was trying to get something under the stove. As cats love to knock things underneath things. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to solve this problem for the cat. So I tried to get, under there. And Jen got involved too. And she's like, I can help with this. Brought a flashlight. We shine a flashlight on it, and I'm taking a look. Shining the flashlight. There are like a dozen toys under the stove. Like, they've just been batting them in there for all out. So there are like a dozen, and take all the fluff and fuzz off of them and throw that away and whatnot. But they were so happy. We found a couple toys that make chirping noises when you bat at them. So we had to put those in a drawer so we could sleep at night. And then pretty much all of today, whenever I would get up for any reason, Ayla would run into the kitchen and sit near the stove and kind of bat at a toy that was in front of it, like, make more magic happen. You made magic. Now I want more magic.
Right. Or I'll bat this toy under the stove.
That's a wonderful imagining the whole family just under the stove trying to get the toys out, cats watching.
Oh, yeah. We were all lying down on the floor looking under the stove, fishing around with sticks. Yeah, it was delightful. Oh shoot, that's a great photo of your dogs.
Neil, what's going on?
We've been looking at properties, man. It's exhausting. Not finding anything we like. We're finding stuff we like, but not anything we feel like we should make an offer for. So that's a bit rough. Other than that, the only interesting thing I've done the last couple of days is I started watching The Boys.
Okay. Yep.
Pretty interesting. Not what I expected or not what I thought it was going to be.
Good.
But it's really good.
Are you still in season 1?
Yeah, still season 1. I think I'm at episode 6 or 7.
Okay. There's only like 8 episodes a season.
I have no idea how many there are. But
yeah, I'm pretty sure there's only 8 episodes a season.
Yeah.
And I think there's only 2 seasons right now.
Yeah, there's 2 seasons. I noticed there's 2 seasons. It's pretty good.
So
it's a
good.
pretty interesting twist on the whole, I don't want to say genre or superhero thing or whatever.
Sure.
But it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. It was a good comic. That and did you ever, I don't know if you guys read comics, but if you guys ever read Irredeemable, that was a really good comic, it has a similar vibe, which is kind of like, what if Superman was a dick? Like, what if Superman was a power-tripping asshole and everyone had to decide, like, how are we going to beat this dude? It's kind of interesting.
Kryptonite?
In Irredeemable, he's like not weak to kryptonite, and,
Okay.
and when he goes crazy, like the thing that he's weak against, he flies around the planet and destroys all of it.
Nice.
Like he decides to go nuts, and he's like, yeah, no, I don't need any vulnerabilities. Okay, thanks, bye.
Okay.
Alright.
Yeah, it's a good comic.
I mean, that's a way to do it, right?
Yeah.
Let's do a recap what happened last game. It feels like forever ago. For whom the bell tolls, the Jerks Emeritus enter the secret chamber beneath the Hospice, unholy ground consecrated in the foul name of the dead goddess Hecate. There they confront Lady Andason, who is claimed to have consumed the dead goddess's flesh. Horrible soul-draining wraiths and a soul devourer are part of her retinue, along with 4 plague daemons who are being milked for their foul diseases. Fereosae uses the Book of Baby Teeth against the undead horror that emerges from Hecate's bell. The professor discovers firsthand, pun intended, that souls have power. Thurgus' sword is used to break the receptacles that house the souls of the victims of the Blood Veil. And there were lots of fireballs. So I think after this, the party made their escape via teleportation magic, as well as your strange and wonderful flying nightmare-pulled carriage, back to the Iron Pine residence. I believe it was quickly decided that the Jerks Emeritus probably have a target on their backs, and it would be best if they withdrew to the manor that they had taken over earlier in the year called Villa Malavella. I'm going to go to the Villa Malavella map. Feel free to poke around. The party, when they first arrived to Villa Malavella, I actually need, and this is before leveling up, I actually need a perception check and or a survival check.
I can do both of those things. It's going to take me a second to figure out what my bonus would be.
And or a...
Do you need all of us to do it, or just one?
Yeah, or I could actually do the perk. Perception, what is it? Titan's Gift.
The perk, I don't think will have my correct perception.
That's fine.
It'll be close because this is pre-leveling.
Yep.
You did all right, buddy.
16, 9, 25, 28, 33, 38. What's that say? Oh, yeah, that actually is good.
Okay.
I don't think I updated the...
Buchrabech has decided to return to the vaults of commerce to go report to his superiors. He says that he'll meet you back at the Iron Pine residence, as he knows that you have lots of things to sort and to sell, but he wants to go back and at least let his superiors know what has transpired. While the source of the Blood Veil has been destroyed, the Blood Veil has still been unleashed upon the Grand Station as well as the rest of the Pearls. So Buchrabech is not there with you. It appears that you have taken one small creature with you who is actually medium-sized, as it's a Fant. It's the kid Fant named Goba that you had rescued from the bowels of the Hospice. Goba's token is with you. Goba doesn't seem to want to leave Zephyros' side, and you may have to find some way to deal with Goba itself. Thurgus, with your insane roll and the fact that you are a divine spellcaster, you immediately, upon teleporting to the edge of this massive manor, know that this place is a place of spirits. In fact, the spirit that seems to be following you since your time in the foul place, now that was only, like a day ago, does wisp out of the sword that you're carrying. You get the sense that it looks around and then goes pulsing through the door, as in it angrily went into the building. Thurgus, you smell a cook fire. Like somebody's home. This is the first time that you guys have come here. Like Thurgus is the first time that he's been at this place. The party has described it as a manor that they captured and cleared out, but haven't been to in months.
You guys hire a chef or something, because someone's cooking.
I don't think we left anyone there. Did we leave a child here? No, I don't think so. We left the child in the city.
That sounds right, but I can't recall. It was haunted when we left, though. I do recall a ghost of a dead mother.
Well, there are also satyrs abounding, and a number of fairies in the forest that may have taken up residence.
Okay, wandering around the corner, you could see this absolutely horrifying skeleton. It is the skeleton of a creature that has eye sockets in its palms, and it's just... It starts shambling towards all of you.
Ah, excellent. The
At
guard,
least that's normal.
yes, still on duty, I see. I will proffer him a salute.
Okay, you call it off from attacking Thurgus.
Yeah, I will definitely do that.
Okay. You notice the professor stands forward after getting out of the... I guess you arrived the first time via teleport, we'll say. Or did you fly here with your wagon?
I think probably by teleport the first time.
Okay.
I'd say teleport to the place under the bridge, and then scout it a bit and walk up.
Okay. So the group of you had walked up. We'll say that you use multiple teleports to get here. We'll say that you're out of teleports for the day. You notice that Henry does put up his hand, and this horrible rotted skeleton thing just stops.
Yes, well, I do believe this is the closest we have to a concierge. Pardon, he's not too good with bags, so you'll have to help yourself, Thurgus. Anyway, be on your watch, Commander, as you were. I will salute the skeleton again and return it to its forever march around the manor.
Okay, it does a wide circle around the party, and then continues to kind of wander around the house. Thurgus, you can see this track. This thing has probably made this route around the house so often that it's created a little, like, not quite
its own trail.
It's its own trail, but it's a trail that would start to collect water. It's almost like a water trap at this point in time. Goba kind of clutched onto Zephyros a little bit more tightly when the horrible skeleton creature of the former children eater had scooted by you.
Marty, my map tool seems to be different to yours for some reason. I can't see any of the characters on the Villa Malavella map.
I had that too. If
there we go.
Come back.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Thank you.
Oh, it's good to be home, says Makronam. Oh, this place is a place of death. Oh.
Everywhere we go is a place of death until we go there.
Yeah, it's pretty much that.
It's actually a place of comfort and relaxation and knowledge. Let's not be too hasty here.
Do you want me?
Well, that's after we go.
Do you want me to go look? Says Pixel to Fereosae.
Yes, please.
Okay, she's about to fly up when Fereosae. This is something that Thurgus sees but doesn't understand the importance of. Up in a high up window, approximately, I'm going to zoom out. You're guessing here.
Okay.
There is the telltale flash of a bluish light coming from within the building.
Ooh. Fuck. Who sees this? Just Pixel?
No,
There's
it's
some lights or something going on.
Fereosae with their 36 perception, and Thurgus sees it, but he doesn't know what the blue means. It's the perfect color blue. It was the flash.
Oh. The door. The door.
It is in there.
Huh? Well, no,
Yes.
Zephyros is carrying the door. The JE door that you carry. Zephyros has it on his back.
Is it on my back still?
Yeah, you've been carrying it, I think, forever. So, I don't have the token out, but you have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's up in the laundry, or possibly in Manny and Ludo's room.
That devil, he's using it without us. Can I do the invisibility field as a swift and dimensional hop onto the roof? It's like a 30-foot.
Okay. So Swift is a single action, and then your Dimensional Hop is a standard action, so that's 2 actions. You get them both off in the same round.
Can I see in any windows up here?
Yeah, point at where you're appearing.
Fereosae she saw the flash up here, I'm guessing. So yeah, I mean probably somewhere up here is fine. I probably can't go that far. The spell's pretty.
Okay, so there is a window here, and there is a window here.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Do I see anything immediately?
Nope.
I'm gonna walk up.
Okay.
To the window.
I'm just gonna use your perception roll from before, which is 9. The Crawling Claw got a 7. Wow, you guys are a team. So you're like, oh, looking around for something. Yeah, you see windows, and you climb along the rooftop and the tiles, and yeah, there's the smoke isn't coming from the kitchen. It seems to be coming from one of the smaller chimneys, like more like a little pipe from the laundry and storage room.
Anybody want
to go into a garden upstairs window, and then kind of use the pixel tunnels to get into the main house?
Okay, you're sending Pixel in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Up by our bedroom.
Yep.
And Zephyros just quietly says, "If we need to get in there quickly, I have dimension doors."
That might make sense.
What's going on? What's the significance of whatever? Why is he in a hurry?
We had a key for a door.
Oh, I got a key.
Well,
Whoever's in there can go anywhere they want, and they can do it quickly. If they're still here, we need to catch them before they go.
Well, why didn't you say so? Just touch the thing and put us in the room.
Do we go?
Yeah, you said we gotta catch them to go where the fuck we want. Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, who's got the Malavella token to open the front door?
I do. I have one around my neck.
Okay. They seem to be concerned about this metal door with this fabulous M kind of carved into it. Or etched
The
and
token.
forged. Yeah, the door kind of shimmers and cracks open. The mask.
As that
Tuck
happens,
that back into my vest.
Zephyros looks at Thurgus and says, Thurgus and Fereosae and says, "Be going."
Quiet as you can.
And Zephyros casts Dimension Door
Okay.
and I'm gonna target that room under.
Who are you taking with you?
Thurgus and Fereosae.
All right. The last thing that kind of rings in your ears is Goba's squeal, like you're leaving. You're leaving Goba behind. So Thurgus, are you taking Christopher with you?
Yeah.
Okay. So the group of you gets teleported where?
So let me just go back to my map tools. So there's a laundry and storage and right. I remember that there's a small little room in there, and I think it had a chimney. We met somebody in there at one point. I think we were
You want to point with your spacebar where you're talking about?
Yeah,
Okay, there.
It's this room here.
All right, so there's a flash, and you appear in a room, and you can see the professor peeking in a window, like peeking out the window.
I'm invisible.
Okay. You can see breath on the window. And there is what looks like an old laundry room that has been converted into an alchemy lab, and you can see there are some beakers that are bubbling and something like a Bunsen burner burning, like somebody is actively using the alchemy lab. You can see a little bit of like a potion kind of dripping into a bottle, like it's being condensed.
Zephyros just shows to everyone. Be quiet, and we're looking around.
There's a stairwell that leads down, Thurgus. You're kind of looking around, and you can notice Zephyros and Fereosae seem to be concentrating on this alchemy lab.
I see him concentrating on the alchemy lab. I turn to the other window.
And Zephyros, being a heavy guy, he's not walking around too much. He's just standing around. He doesn't want the floorboards to creak or anything like that when he walks.
What was that, Luke? You're climbing in through the window?
Oh, never mind. I'm flying. Never mind. Sorry, I forgot. I'm flying.
Fly all the time. Your feet never touch. Those tusks never touch the ground.
Yeah, they don't touch the ground.
Professor,
No,
you're coming in through the window, or?
No, I see them all looking at the alchemy lab. I know, or they're in the alchemy lab. Sorry, and they see somebody's actively using it. Right?
Yep.
I'm not gonna come in the window. I'm gonna cast see invisibility on myself.
Okay. It's at this point, everyone inside the building actually hears a female blood-curdling scream. What sounds like the roar of a Thurgus, or somebody of Thurgus's race, and a lot of splashing water.
Oh, we know where that is.
Yeah.
Ground floor.
The bathing room, I think. Yes.
Ground floor bathing room.
Yeah, I guess I'll cast fly.
You could see them through the thick window. They're reacting to something. Like they all kind of went, "Huh."
Oh, okay. I can't hear it outside.
No.
Do we want to go there immediately?
I think yes.
So Zephyros casts Dimension Door again.
He glides over to the others and boom.
Casts Dimension Door again, and he points and he goes to that room. I think it's top left corner in the ground floor or something like that.
All right, there is an opulent bathing room that Zephyros makes you appear in. The commotion seems to be coming from a bath. The curtains are all wet and waving around the room like some ethereal wind is blowing, and you can't actually see the creatures, but you can see their outline as they're disturbing the water, and you can see this strange-looking bear spirit holding onto the neck of a woman and running her through with a sword.
Oh, no.
She is just screaming, and you could see that her eyelids have all been sewn shut, and as she screams, there are like the screams that have been captured by the children victims of the of her husband, caught in her windpipes, and you can see that the bear spirit of, well, his body is outside, of Narfod, is just chopping at this foul spirit that has haunted this this bathtub.
She lives here. This is her house.
You can see little spirits detaching from inside of her mouth and like whipping throughout the room.
This bitch seems super evil to me. Can I make my sword Ghost Touch by using Warrior Spirit and charge this lady?
So Thurgus is now adding to it. Thurgus's sword sizzles when it hits the water, there's a large pulse as all the magic that you kind of channeled into your sword goes into the water. There, you seem to have killed whatever this woman was. Like, all the water just kind of splashes to the ground. You're wet. The floor is wet. And you can see that there are two little indentations where Norpod's spirit was standing, and those just slowly disappear. And this little spirit of Narfod kind of wiggles around and goes into your sword.
This was the wife of the house's owner.
I don't feel like this place is pretty. I feel like you guys oversold it a bit.
Well, I mentioned the ghost in the bath. I mean,
with a mouth stitch set with a bunch of souls in the throat.
There's some grout.
Yes.
There's some grout and grime.
Scary.
There's some grout and grime that seem to have been radiating from the bath that just starts to disappear. Like this place has now been cleaned.
Nice.
She'll probably be back. I don't think we've put her to rest. We did finish off her evil husband who killed her children.
You know what? Just to be on the safe side, and I'm gonna pull out some silver dust, and I'm gonna set my sort of flip the blade and kind of set it in the ground a little bit, and I'm gonna put my other claw on my breastplate where my holy symbol is, and I'm gonna consecrate.
Okay. You consecrate the bath, and you feel that whatever you and your spirit have done, that this place is no longer, at least this bathtub, is no longer haunted.
Property value just went up, boys. that's $50,000 right there. Not haunted. We can put that on the listing.
Zephyros moves closer, touches him on the shoulder, and says, "Welcome home."
I
fucking what?
You've claimed the bath for yourself, if you wish.
Are there any other watches I got to worry about?
You could all hear this giggling as the invisible gummy bear is now swimming in the bathtub.
Oh, don't kill the poor spirits that are managing the sauna. There's a couple of mephits, I think, trapped in there. I don't think we let them out. I can't really recall. It's a nice sauna.
You got a slave labor?
Well,
No.
If you look at it, in a negative light, maybe.
Do you pay them?
Do you?
They're
I might start.
we can pay them.
We can pay them. Sure.
They're
Give them like
mephits.
days off or something.
They're summoned by wizards and bound to tasks. It's they're elementals.
Pixel seems to know this place as she comes flying out of like a vent in the wall. She flutters up to Fereosae.
What's going on upstairs?
I'm showing Goba the cloakroom,
Oh, good.
and Goba brought the door inside, and I told them to close the doors. I didn't see anyone else here on the way down.
Let's check Ludo's room.
Okay.
I'm suspicious.
I'll climb in the window and start examining what spell or what they were using the alchemy lab for. Everybody left, so I'll just look at stuff.
Okay. Give me a knowledge alchemy, or a craft alchemy roll. Sorry.
I thought you would never ask. This is like maxed out for me. 28. Not 20. Oh my god, 48. What were they doing in here?
It looks like let me just look at something.
You reverse engineer some formulas.
Yeah. It's probably just like health potions. Just some fucking cure light wounds.
Broke into your house to use your alembic.
Sorry, bro. I just needed some cure light wounds.
The potion that is currently brewing is a greater invisibility potion.
Okay.
No, wait, sorry. 3rd level. It would be a displacement potion.
That's the only one going?
It has been used recently, like in the last several weeks, to produce a fly potion and a gaseous form potion. Or gaseous.
I know Ludo's style of alchemy. I know he makes the powders that he then imbibes up his nose. Does this look like it's Ludo's work?
You do see that the potions in a secondary process are forming into a lozenge that have been powderized.
Ah, so it is Ludo's work.
It's the same style that Ludo goes through.
Yeah. Ludo,
Like it starts off as a liquid, and then he actually goes through the extra steps to make it into a brick, which then he turns into a powder.
Yes. Ludo.
So the displacement looks like he kind of like it's at the point where he's halfway through the process. Whoever gets here, actually, he did it pretty smartly. It's like that vial could just sit there for a while, and it's like in a pre-crystallization phase.
I'll cast invisibility on myself silently and stand here and ponder this for a few moments.
Yep. All right. Pixel beats you up to Ludo's room. I don't know if you're rushing along with them, Thurgus.
I mean, I'm new here. I've never been here before, so I'm kind of following everybody else's lead, to be honest.
Okay. You leave Christopher behind in the bathtub. He seems to be happy in the water. Pixel races up some grand staircases with a very, very strange echoey sound to them, like they're really acoustically sound. And they get to an upper floor, and they seem to be facing down this long hallway. And I don't know if they're charging in through this way or not.
Let's listen first.
Okay. Pixel actually disappears into the vents, and Fereosae is listening at the door.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't hear any noise there. You actually hear Pixel. I don't see anyone.
Let's check and see if anyone's been in here recently.
Okay.
I will open the door.
Yeah, you open the door. You can see, like I think it was kind of like a bachelor room.
For sure. Yeah.
like bottles and games and curios. There was an armor locker, a weapon locker.
It's gotta smell weird.
That tobacco is that tobacco smell is way too recent. There's actually some of it still hanging in the air.
Fresh. He's been here recently. But is it him or his mirror?
The question is he still here?
The mirror was the one that had the key. We should be prepared to attack if provoked.
While you didn't take an exact accounting of like what was in the room or, you know, what the state that Manny and Ludo left it all those months ago. It does look like perhaps minor things have been moved around, like meals may have been eaten here. Bottles might have been drank. You get the feeling that somebody's been living here.
This is interesting. Why would he be living here? If somebody is living here, why would it be him?
He knows the place. If it's his mirror, then it may have his memories. Perhaps it's trying to hunt him down and kill him. We know where he is.
Maybe he's
Or where he last was.
Maybe the mirror is looking for us.
Could be. Pixel, why don't you check out our room and make sure everything is mostly in order there?
Yeah, Pixel goes about the place, and she doesn't find 32. She doesn't find anything too amiss, although she suspects that somebody's been poking around.
Interesting.
Like, things have been moved a little bit.
Yeah.
Nothing seems to be missing. It's just she can tell that things weren't exactly where they were left.
Yeah.
She gets a funny feeling that somebody was spying or looking for something.
Thurgus, before you go into the library, there are 2 golems in there that will attack you. And they protect the library for us. I can make you a symbol.
I think we need to give Thurgus a room.
Yes. Well, he could have the bath. He could have Manny's room. He could have Tech's room, although there's a lot of cleaning out to do there. What else? There are guest suites just off the garden. They're quite nice.
What about the entryway?
Do you want the entryway?
Or like a room close to an exit?
Well, sure. There's a back door that's near the sauna and bathing room.
Sounds great.
Why don't you give him one of the guest rooms?
He can have one if he likes, yes. The guest rooms have an exit to the garden, which may have a few living... I think we've mostly gotten rid of the problematic things in the garden.
Works for me.
All right, they bring you downstairs, and there is a side hall. I guess just Pixel and Fereosae bring you downstairs. There is a guest hall with a beautiful stone table, very large chairs, and there are some very large beds in the guest suites. You could take either one. The private guest hall leads out to an overgrown garden. It's fall, so covered in leaves and rotted pears along the ground.
I'm fond of the plants out there, so if you wouldn't mind avoiding too heavily pruning them, shall we say.
The mosaics and floral prints have all sorts of majestic birds and vines and flowers on them in the guest hall. You're going to take the outer guest suite?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to call this Thurgus's room.
Welcome to the mansion, buddy.
You even have your own privy.
Is it enchanted with permanent prestidigitation?
No.
No.
And there's no such thing as Charmin.
Can I spend a minute doing psychometry on the alchemy lab to try and get some recent memories of the person using it? See if I can pick up
Sure.
Ludo or whatever. Mm, 38. I think that gets me. What is it? 15's the DC. 10. One piece of information.
Three pieces of information. Okay. You catch a glimpse of Ludo's face in concentration reflected in one of the beakers. His hair is different. It's like all slicked back. He's not wearing that stupid mining cap.
Hey, he got that thing for free.
The mining helmet or whatever he wears. Yeah, he's not wearing that. In fact, this Ludo creeps you out a little bit. Very serious-faced. Second piece of information. He's not making these potions for him. And third piece of information, the reason why Ludo's not making these potions is that he's capable of making them himself via being an alchemist.
Makes sense.
Oh, he doesn't need to use.
You can make extracts.
Oh, since he's gonna give them to someone else, it has to be made in a lab. It can't just be the ones he gets at the start of every day or whatever.
Yep.
God. Okay. After I, glean all that, I'll go and listen at the secret door. I know it's here. I probably helped Ludo put it in when we built this house.
Yep.
So I'll go listen in and then probably go in that room to see if he's in his bedroom.
Yeah, we're going to say at this point in time, the mystery of Ludo's living in this house, it doesn't resolve itself as he doesn't seem to come back. The party seems to have a lot of plans for what to do with their wealth, as well as wizards with idle time don't make good guards, as they always have their noses in books. And apparently there's a lot of crafting that needs to be done. The days of autumn begin to tick by. As Zephyros first spends a little bit of time after unlocking new powers, learning some spells. And I'm going to go to the downtime sheet and I'm going to start just highlighting things in green, which means that that is now complete. So you learn some spells. You also learn teleport, which is helpful in transporting the smithy from Goathorn's smithy into this place. The kitchen also has a forge, Thurgus. And the Fance forge now has all of the powers of the Goathorn smithy, which is capable of what? Is it +3 weapons?
+3.
Okay. +3 weapons and armor can be crafted in the Fance Forge now when you are done moving things over. Christopher seems to take a great interest in the forge itself. He turns to Thurgus and says, "Ha! I might have to emulate my brother. Ha! Big mutant, big troll under the mountain. Ah, don't worry."
You what? There's more of you?
Oh yeah, there was a whole family of them. That was a long time ago.
In my head, like long time ago as in you were born like a week ago.
You know nothing. Ha! Yeah. Good old Hef isn't the only one that could build.
Hef? What, like a heifer? Is it some like bears and like pigs and cows or something?
Well, I wouldn't call him a bear, a pig, or a cow.
You're very, coy.
Yeah, he's not the only one that craft weapons. I'll show you.
Yeah, alright. Won't say no to that.
Alright, and then the little gummy bear familiar begins to craft.
Oh my god, he's a little tiny, like, leather apron in my mind, and little tiny hammer, little tiny anvil next to the regular size one.
It appears that after rebuilding the smithy, some of you are going to do training. There is a bit of bookkeeping we need to keep, or housekeeping we need to get out of the way. At the top of your sheets, there were some negative effects that were on your characters, including diseases and negative levels.
Yep.
Basically, who's got one of these effects that I need to make a roll for?
Zephyros
I
takes
can-
2 negative levels.
Okay. 2 negative levels. Buchrabech can cast Restoration. He requires 100 gold pieces of diamonds. If you subtract the 100 gold pieces, he could get rid of those negative levels before you have to make your fortitude saves.
Sure, I'll subtract
'Kay.
100 gold pieces.
Thurgus, you had a disease, maybe?
Yeah, I have the shakes.
Okay. Give me a fortitude save. I don't know how... and you could have also had Buchrabech get rid of your negative level, subtract another 100 gold.
So do I also need to give you a fortitude save?
Nope, no fortitude saves, because he caught that in time. It's 20 after 24 hours you need to make a fort save.
34.
Okay, so the shakes have gone away. You were a bit sick and your body just rejected it. You were able to get rid of the disease. Okay. Buchrabech is undergoing training at his temple, giving you guys a few weeks before you're going to start a major attempt at selling things. There are a couple of things that you guys have called out. First, Fereosae wants to investigate the Book of Teeth.
Yes.
Fereosae, you've settled in. This is about 6 days after you have returned to Villa Malavella, and no sign of Ludo. He has left his potion in an unfinished state.
All right. Well, I want to look through the book and see if any names show up that look familiar. There was the insane daughter of Baba Yaga. Let's see, I have her name here somewhere. No, let's see. Must be higher up. Where did we run into her? Well, certainly I want to look for the name of the queen.
The Mad Witch?
Yes. Yes, Elena the Mad Witch.
Yeah.
Give me a D4 minus 1.
Zero.
You find a page that has her name on it, but the little pouches of teeth, there are none left.
Ah, okay. All right. Well, let's look for the queen.
Okay? You don't find any entries named Queen, but you do find an entry that has a first name and a last name. It's Iliosa Arvanxi.
Right.
Roll a D6 minus 1 and there is a note in the margins that says, "An odd child, born with extra teeth."
Four.
There are 4 baby teeth in a little pouch sewn into the page of the book.
Nice, nice.
This book now suggests, by that name and by what the book is, that Iliosa was abducted. It also suggests that Iliosa is a daughter of Baba Yaga.
Wow.
Yes.
And we've got the spell components here.
And she kind of appoints her daughters to rule realms that descend into eternal winter or something along those lines.
The daughter that was in cahoots with an evil organization of plague doctors, a foul vampire, is also in this book. The woman who you defeated, who claimed to have eaten the flesh of the dead goddess Hecate.
Right. What was her name?
Which one?
Andason.
Andason, yeah. Lady Andason.
Okay. Lady Andason's last name is Arvanxi.
Nice.
Oh.
Nice. Okay, okay. Are there any other Arvanxis?
You flip through this hoping that there's a third daughter, or hoping that there isn't. This book does not give any proof to any more daughters of that name.
What about Wessel? Her parents, Lionette Wessel, I think, is her mother's maiden name. I don't know if Fereosae is telling us all that her like at dinner.
I'll share all of this.
So Iliosa's maiden name was what? Sorry,
Lionette Wessel. I have for when I did at one point I did a study on the Queen Iliosa Arvanxi, and asked the pagebound Epiphany a bunch of questions about her. I had her parents are Lionette Wessel and Ildrin Arvanxi.
Yeah, so her father's name's Arvanxi, so she'd have her father's last name.
Yeah, so her mother's maiden name should be Lionette Wessel.
Yes.
Was her mother a daughter of Baba Yaga?
So you look for the name Wessel, and no, there's no Wessel there.
Are there any Chalmers or Tenebrins?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's funny.
There's also, she has a teacher. Her Sabrina, her Marin.
That's a good check.
Fereosae, did you do this look in front of everyone or on your own?
Oh, the one for Chalmers and Tenebrin I'm doing on my own.
Okay.
Good idea. I'll pick that one when nobody's around, just in case.
Some Batman level contingency planning.
Yeah.
She holds sway in the Beastlands and in the Sky Tree through her.
There's not even a page, Fereosae. You notice with your insane perception check
Yes.
that there's something kind of caught on the back, the back part of the binding, kind of like you flip to the last page and then the binding on the back of the book, and you notice that there's something rolling around between the leather binding and the wooden backing of the frame, and it's about the size of a tooth.
Yeah, I'll carefully, with my scalpel, cut in and remove it, and also see if there's any text that describes maybe what that tooth would be.
All right, you remove it, and it's like somebody took, the thread on a tea bag and wrapped it around the tooth. And there's a little note attached to the thread.
Yes.
And it says, Black Benny.
All right. I'll keep that one to myself. About how many teeth are we dealing with in here? I'm real curious. Like, these teeth are sort of prepared to be effective against, the people whose teeth they are. I'm a little bit curious. What would happen if we just jammed a bunch of them into a tooth fairy and set it loose in the hut?
There are pages for about a dozen other individuals.
Okay.
Most of them seem older than Iliosa and Dason. Like, Dason and Iliosa seem to be near the end.
Okay.
In fact, you're kind of gathering by the yellowness of the teeth, or like just missing, is that somebody began the book and they got near the end, and then Dason, Iliosa, and even the Mad Witch might all be kind of in the similar age range, like within plus or minus 10 or 20 years.
Sure.
This last edition, there was no more room, and maybe they just stuck Black Benny's tooth in the back of the book. Now, Benny, you think that's a male human name, and there are no other males in this book.
Ah, okay.
You ever known anybody named Benjamin? Anybody at all who maybe had like a dark, mysterious event in their past?
And this tooth is very, very decayed.
Okay.
In a most unnatural way.
All right.
List of boss battles here for ourselves, maybe.
I should probably ask if there are any other pages with names on them that are nearby Iliosa and Andazen?
Yeah, you seem to be going forward. There's a dozen female names. Before Iliosa and Andazen.
Okay.
Iliosa's, we'll say, the last page.
Okay.
And Dacen's before that, and maybe the Mad Witch is a couple before that.
All right. Any hairs or any other bits of anything here?
Just teeth.
Okay. Excellent.
Baby teeth.
Baby teeth. Delightful. I'll share everything except the Black Benny information with everyone.
Okay.
But I'll ask, did any, Professor, you come from a prestigious line. Did any of your ancestors have daughters that were kidnapped by, daughters that may have gone missing, daughters that controlled pearls or worlds?
I do remember some distant nieces going missing on a holiday to one of the other pearls, but I think that may have been mixed up with some artists of ill repute. Let me see. Children, though. Do I have anything in my past of like female relatives disappearing?
Knowledge history? Knowledge
Despite your best
knowledge
efforts to
nobility?
sell their souls? No.
I was forced into that. Would it be? Yeah, I guess they're all plus 18 at this point. I got nobility and history are both at plus 18, whatever is.
Yeah, your family's full of people going missing. There was a whole offshoot of your family that was turned into undead in the basement of the what was the name of your house? Maison Chalmers. Yeah, it's like family of necromancers. People go missing all the time.
Well, in the basement, you sacrifice souls to.
I'll just start nonchalantly listing these off as if they're just like normal family events.
In fact, you get the sense from the professor, because the professor may just sort of think this was normal, that there was a very strong like dual lineage in their family, and then any of these smaller families that latched themselves onto most often became victims of the larger family. Like, other families did not do well, aside from the people that married into the line, by virtue of being part of the Chalmers. What's the other name? The Tenebrin Chalmers.
I'll recount one of them as sort of an off-color joke about how an entire family was sacrificed for amusement at one particular winter solstice feast. Sort of like fireworks made of corpses, I'll hint at.
Your upbringing was a great source of explanation for your present.
Yes, well, certain family members were quite fond of some of the entertainment that year. A bit ghastly for a feast, I would say.
The roots grow deep and bear strange fruit.
Yes, it was a troublesome childhood at times, to say the least. I often found refuge in my work, a bit less quiet, a bit more predictable.
I can only imagine.
All right. The next thing I've got investigating ring learn spells for the professor.
So when we were in the final battle at the end of the season, at one point at the end, when investigating the Well of Souls, I attempted to lift a bunch of them out, and the ring on my hand ate a chaotic evil one, and it turned another finger on my hand into a skeleton, acting ring power number 2. So I'd like to spend some time trying to figure out what ring power number 2 is.
Okay. You actually identify doesn't work. You get a little frustrated. You then try your psychometry, and you end up in sort of a trance. There is a dark room with a green glow that is right behind you. You feel a paralytic cold creep up your spine. And there's something bobbing behind you just over your shoulder. You can't turn, like your neck muscles won't allow you to turn. You could see the crawling claw on the table in front of you and pointing at it. And it whispers to you. Knowledge. Power. Or protection.
Knowledge, of course.
Very well. You clutch onto your hand, you fall over. No one really pays attention to the professor, so you spend some time kind of like your finger really hurts as you're rolling around the occult parlor. As the ring that is fused to your now kind of quasi undead hand now grants you a +10 competence bonus to your choice of knowledge skill.
Whoa. Interesting. Ooh.
It would likely be limited to knowledge planes, knowledge religion, or knowledge arcana.
Probably Arcana, I would think. That seems like a good one for a wizard. Arcana is pretty important. I think we're gonna go with Arcana.
Okay, that is now the primary power of the ring, and the previous power, which was the sustenance, I believe, gets pushed into a secondary slot. Like it's a secondary power.
Okay.
All right.
I will immediately try and test it and spout off some arcane fact.
Okay, yeah, there are facts that tumble to you from whispers from the ring, as this being that emitted the green light, the one that would not allow you to see its face, help you.
Interesting.
I've also got listed that you're going to learn some spells and craft some wands, so go ahead and consider that done and add that to your sheet.
Cool.
The party that is selling, it looks like Fereosae is conjuring Fae to the Villa Malavella to help sell some of your ill-gotten goods, or gotten goods. Zephyros and the professor both know teleport, so they're able to go to the Iron Pine residence and make contact with Buchrabech, who is also going to help you sell and buy things. We're going to say that Fereosae, Zephyros, and the professor, along with Thurgus, on that first trip, go to meet Buchrabech. I'm just going to drag your tokens to the south of Villa Malavella, and I'm going to put Buchrabech on there. And where are the rest of your tokens? Professor, the Crawling Claw, and Thurgus. You left your familiar Christopher behind, or does he have to be near you all the times? I forget.
He has to be within 100 feet of me.
Okay, so he has to come with you when you're doing this. All right, Buchrabech isn't waiting in the Iron Pine residence. He was waiting in an alleyway across the way. He puts up his hand, and you can see that Buchrabech's wearing different clothing than when you left him.
What does it look like?
It appears that Buchrabech's diadem, actually, it is much shinier than it was before. He is bedecked in a few extra items, some of which you recognize as things that you gave to him. His armor has almost a golden sheen to it. He is wearing priest robes over top of the armor, and he has a very resplendent holy symbol of Bampa Dumba Dumba.
Nice.
Buchrabech also doesn't seem to be carrying his Morning Star. At least it's not packed at his hip. He comes wandering out. Friends! Friends!
Hey, it looks like you're missing a weapon, friend.
Ah, no. Buchrabech is a weapon now.
Really? That sounds pretty good.
Apparently my superiors have not only invited me back into the folds of the church because of our great deeds, they have made me a sentinel of many hands.
And he kind of he like squats down into almost like a like a fighting stance, and clutches both of his fists. He makes two fists, and you can see Thurgus that his fists, even in the 15 days or so that you haven't seen him, he has developed some pretty good calluses on his knuckles.
You've been punching people, mate. Did you fight your way in or something until they promoted you?
The holy congregation of the resplendent Mandira has made me a sentinel of many hands. I am back in the faith, not only as priest, but defender of commerce.
He shows you his holy symbol like it's something really important. You guys can make a knowledge religion if you want.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Congratulations.
$38.
22.
19.
All right, 19, you're like, he's a priest, and apparently some sort of monk. Anyone who's got 20, you're like, yeah, that symbol's really important to the Church of Bampa Damba Damba, and anyone over 30 knows that Buchrabech has trained, if his clothing is to be believed, as an enlightened paladin of lawful trade.
Enlightened of trade are we today, then?
Yes, I've been invited back to the fold, and they said, because of the great things that we did, and that the great bravery we have seen, it's time to bring order back to the city, so that commerce may flow.
Well, congratulations on your promotion. May you never forget the little people who made it all possible, yes?
Where are you, Professor? I'd slap you if I could see you.
Right here, sorry, I forgot to turn this off. Just a moment.
How does your order fare with the Queen and the Alchemists and some of these other factions that seem like they may not have appreciated our style?
Yeah, that sort of thing will have to remain quiet for now, but don't think we have not... that we don't know. There are some trusted priests in my religion that do know. My superiors know that there may have been a connection. Let us just say that the relationship between the churches, not only of Bampa Dama Domba, but all of the others in the Temple District, and the Queen remains strained.
Be careful in your journeying through the halls of power, Buchrabech. Politics is a dangerous game, far more dangerous than necromancy.
I have something for you.
For me?
Not for you specifically.
Oh, well.
I managed to get a message to Cassindercroft.
Ah, splendid.
She is aware of your heroics and agrees that perhaps we should lay low for a time.
Oh, laying low? We've been here for like 2 fucking weeks.
I can do some stuff for more time.
Is this like a 1 or 2 days thing? Because I really got to go kill those alchemists. Like, if we don't go tomorrow, I don't know what I'll do with myself.
Then I guess you don't know what you're gonna do with yourself.
Have you seen the sauna? It is quite relaxing. Perhaps a diversion? Or, we did raid a bar at one point. I believe we have enough liquor and food here stocked for several months, years.
Well, there's also that group of people that train constantly to secretly destroy the evils that plague the city in favor of the common man.
Oh, wait, what? Tell me about that last one.
Oh, he's not going to be interested in them, Fereosae.
Let's finish with the alcohol inventory first. Priorities.
Well, and if we finish it, we can always get more.
This was where we last saw Luda.
So you're saying there's a group of people underground They're trying to overthrow the government.
Don't say it so loud.
No, not necessarily, but just keeping things, righting wrongs. They, do what needs to be done, is my understanding.
I think it's high time for an inquisition.
Perhaps we can drop by then, while we're down in the lower city here.
Where did Fereosae's token disappear to? Malavella is such a busy place that...
Where is Fereosae's token?
We're at the bottom. We're on the fence.
Yeah, I can see you guys, but Fereosae's not there.
It's not Fereosae. That is weird.
There's the Nectarine tree, there's Goba.
Where did you disappear?
Oh, here I am. I'm here. I'm with the group.
Okay. Alright, thanks.
I know a good way for us to spend our time. There are a number of shops that have survived, in fact some that have thrived during this chaos. With that and my connections at the restored at the vaults of commerce, we should be able to sell some of the goodies that we have acquired.
And finally buy that scroll of dimensional anchor you keep talking about.
Some whiskey.
I can prepare that spell, can you?
If only I had some friend connected in commerce who could find me the scroll. If only.
Alright, there is a flurry of activity with Buchrabech kind of helping out at the Vault of Commerce, and you guys going to a few of the merchants still doing business in the Slewborough district, using teleport to get yourselves back and forth without leaving a trail back to Villa Malavella. Selling goods. For the little things, Fereosae is able to summon Fae from the surrounding woods to form basically Fae flea markets right at the front doors of Villa Malavella. You finish rebuilding the smithy. Christopher, the tiny gummy bear familiar, begins to get to work. As you recall, Christopher is comprised both of Thurgus's blood and that of a strange, the blood or the water of a strange ancient deity.
Yes.
There's lots of selling that goes on. There's lots of assisting with the selling, and I'm going to basically mark off that all of your goods over the course of something like 6 weeks has been sold. We're talking the party had something like 100 grand worth of treasure to kind of get through.
Is Manny alive and still working at Slewborough Quality Meats?
Didn't Manny disappear in
Oh yeah,
in the hut? Yeah.
Manny disappeared in the hut. He's not back at Slewborough Quality Meats. Is that
No.
okay?
Does Buchrabech ask about Malbut at some point? We've been talking Malbut here, right?
Buchrabech hasn't actually made his way back to Villa Malavella. He's been helping you sell. You basically meet him outside the Iron Pine residence or at the at Sai's place, and he hasn't actually teleported back. He's asked a couple of times about Malbut, but he assumes that Malbut's doing work at the villa.
Must be.
Must be.
And at some
Is that
point
the villa?
And at some point we gotta also clean up Dexerax Gigatsa Grotto.
Yeah.
Are you just leaving it? You do notice, and then this is for Max, that there are several rooms that have been turned into more like burrows as opposed to rooms, where dozens and dozens and dozens of animal hides and hundreds of bones have been kind of worked into the walls to make it look like some sort of like horrible goblin burrow.
That's awful.
They leave this room alone.
Yeah, I just ignore it.
You and Tech would get along really well.
I wish it was so.
I've got a note here about Professor starting a manuscript. What is that about? You've got 5 days in your downtime where you're going to start a manuscript.
Yeah, so the professor's been thinking about it, and as all good scholars and learned individuals, I mean, you got to get published, right? The only way you're anybody in academia is if you're published. So I am going to start in on my manuscripts. It will be a treatise on learning to become immortal, and it's really my stepping stone to immortality and godhood, which is really just a means to an end to do study forever. So I'll start with some notes on learning, where I'll talk about spells that are useful as the scholar learning how to become immortal, like Pagebound Epiphany is super.
Do you actually know how to become immortal, or are you just saying, here are the useful tools that I'm using, and because I'm becoming immortal one day, this will be a learning exercise?
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
little bit of the chicken and the egg on this one. I know I'll become immortal one day because I'm convinced after reading that book. So I know I do it. So I must have the knowledge. I'm going to start writing it down and use this as a way to keep that research going.
All right, this fits with somebody who worships himself as a deity. So, what is the title of this book?
It's a working title. I'll probably use the one that book turned into when I read it. It's back here somewhere in my notes. It's like How I Became Immortal or something cheeky like that. I don't have it offhand, but I'll
Memoirs of Immortality?
Yeah, it's something really...
Volume 1? Okay, in the beginning, I was but a lowly wizard. Don't worry. We will get there. Okay. All right. Yeah, you could write the beginning of a volume. Do you want to make a craft check or a check now?
Yeah, I mean, to start, will I have to do more checks later on this?
Yeah, well, you could add a different volume. Old school books had many volumes.
Yeah, I'll do.
You could definitely spend 5 days and fill a book full of your mad ramblings about how cool of a wizard you are. Like, that's definitely a thing you could do.
Yeah,
Do you have like any craft skills that would apply? Otherwise, this is a knowledge check. Wait. Are you telling the truth, or are you lying?
I'm telling what I believe is the truth.
Okay. Are you trying to convince people of anything, or are you just spouting facts?
I'm convinced of it. I don't think I'm trying to convince anyone, but it probably comes off as it.
Okay. Looking at the professor, you have 5 ranks in diplomacy. Interesting. So I'm going to give you a synergy bonus on whatever knowledge check you're rolling this in, and I think it's Arcana.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Arcana.
Don't forget your plus 10 competence bonus to Arcana.
Yeah, so it should be at plus 28.
All right, so plus 2 for the synergy. Roll your plus 30 check as you're trying to write "This is how I became immortal," Volume 1.
37.
All right, so mark down Volume 1 has a check of 37, and you are writing a book that is basically it's like you're right with a lot of theory. You have some neat stuff. Step 2, not defined. Step 3, therefore immortal, right? Like you're kind of doing the Underpants Gnomes thing, where it's like, we'll need to fill in the rest of the collection. It's still not clear how, after reading the book, yes, this guy's smart. He's got some neat tricks, but how he gets there is not clear.
I'll throw down some, like,
sorry. There was a hero point for a plus 8, so you can add 8 to that check.
Ooh, oh my god. 37 goes up to
45. The poor people that find this tome. Confounded by his brilliance, they actually believe he's a god.
Did he get that immediate use fortune point too?
I'm not going to let the fortune stack with the hero.
Okay.
That's fine. Okay, so you spend 5 days writing your mad manuscript. Next, experiment with Emperor Nectarine. So all the things have been sold so far. Christopher has been helping sell, and we'll get to Thurgus in a moment. Christopher has started crafting, and we'll get to him in a second. Let's do the experiment with the Nectarine.
Yeah, so I want to take I want to try a few different things.
Yep.
I want to use the box of potions that regenerates a missing one once a day to test combinations of potions, as well as testing the splitting and concentrating. But I also want Pixel to spend some time with the tree because I've taken Verdant Familiar. So Pixel is now more plant than fey. And I'd like to see how she gets on with the magical tree.
Okay. Then the tree can produce a magical fruit once per 10 day. Feeding a potion, basically you manipulate the plant and allow 24 hours for the fruit to grow.
So I'll just try this over the course of the remainder, sort of a series of experiments.
Yep. Give me a knowledge arcana or a craft alchemy or a knowledge nature.
Let's see what we're good at here. Knowledge nature I'm pretty skilled at. Let's do nature. This is 27.
Okay, and then there's a fortune point for +2.
Pixel can aid for another +2.
Yep.
Let's make sure Pixel doesn't roll a 1. No. Okay. So that gets to 30.
Okay, I've got a few things here to add to the...
Bard take 10s on that too and get to 30. Or 30.
We'll put you at 31, wouldn't it? 27 plus 2 plus 2.
Maybe I've got a +20 on knowledge nature, +2 from Pixel,
Plus 2 from fortune point.
I already rolled those. I don't think I can take.
No, it was immediate use before that. Marty said +2 from the
Yeah,
fortune point.
I took care of that one. That gets me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you now know the full extent of the powers of the Emperor Nectarine. Basically, that it once per 10 day, it can be used to do something with a potion. You know that the fruit only last for 1 month before losing their magical qualities. And then the difficulty of feeding the potion increases with the following. Duplication with dilution. And these are all written down under Emperor Nectarine Tree, magical plant in the Gear and Treasure. Which means that you could duplicate the potion, like 2 fruit will grow, but their caster levels will be lower.
Yes.
There's concentration. You can actually increase the caster level of the potion. There's combination. You can feed it 2 potions and then 1 fruit grows.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There's random potion of same power.
Ooh, interesting.
And then there's duplication without dilution.
Yes. Nice.
Good things happen for every 5 by which you beat the DC, and as a quirk, the plant cannot be fed its own fruit.
Yeah, that completely makes sense. I will come up with a few things I want to try, and we can do some rolls on them, and that'll be fruit that we can take with us for the next adventure.
Cool. So yeah, Pixel because you like the Nectarine, the Emperor Nectarine tree, and I think, yeah, it's right here, Pixel likes it, if that makes sense. She picks up your empathic interest in the tree and, well, decides to also help you out with it. This may give Fereosae an idea, and I don't know when you're working that idea into the...
I'm happy to work it in sooner rather than later, just because
Okay.
I think it's so interesting.
Okay, I'm going to put it the last week of autumn.
Sounds good. Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Pixel's thing, and I'm going to highlight that and we'll get back to it. Thurgus, you know you have to sell goods, and you've got a familiar that is doing crafting at a magical forge. Like,
Oh god, I'm so bored.
it's amazing. This little creature is making your swords and armor better, but Thurgus is just you're kind of chomping at the bit to go and attack this alchemist tower, but the party doesn't seem to be, well, they're all wizards and they're busy. Huh? Don't complain.
I mean, that's all well and good, but like, oh my fucking god, I'm so bored. I've got to kill those fuckers. I'm just not sure quite how to do it.
Oh, right. Well, there was that order in town. A little monkey, I think, monk-like, a little roguey, very stabby. Yeah.
Picks up
Yeah.
one thing about hanging out in the kitchen. It's like where Christopher does his work, but the party members end up coming to the kitchen to get coffee and food and stuff. So, yeah, Fereosae heard you complaining about being bored.
I'm also learning Aquan as one of the skills. We've got that headband that lets you know Aquan.
Nice.
So I've been kind of just listening in on Christopher and a little back and forth occasionally to pick it up.
Okay. Yeah, this little guy is building weapons for Thurgus. Thurgus, when you ask the question, like, what am I going to do, you can see Narfad's spirit rise up out of your sword.
Oh, yeah. Well, did we put him to rest already? Like, I'm assuming a couple weeks ago, like we buried him under a tree or something like that. Like,
yeah.
I'm not familiar. Like, Max as a player is not familiar with Ursine sort of burial rites, but
Caves.
okay. Okay. So then I'm assuming like I dug like a cave or found a cave or something like that, or found.
Yeah, you could have dug in the backyard or something.
Okay.
Caves around here.
Yeah, I would have put him to rest. And then seeing his spirit.
Let's say that this question, you've kept his body safe for a while, but you have to go out and bury him, basically.
Yeah. And we were using a way to like preserve the corpse, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I slapped it with a whatever.
Gentle repose.
Gentle reposes. Okay. Yeah. I think I've got to put him to rest, and maybe I'll get some ideas on what I can do to keep myself busy.
I think I remember talk of some natural cave formations in the woods about the grounds. Wasn't the Fae speaking of them?
Narfad, come here.
Yes.
The little floating spirit thing floats right up to the bear. The bear kind of leans up and tries to whisper something to the spirit.
What are you two on about?
Nothing.
Don't you fucking mean nothing to me.
Narfad's spirit just goes over and actually goes into his body, which has been wrapped up in some leather wrappings.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take him. I think today's the day.
Okay. Christopher puts down the prongs and the little hammer he was using and just climbs up onto your shoulder.
Yeah, I'll pick him up and start walking towards whatever cave formation they told me about. I'm assuming I can use survival to like understand where geographically I might be headed.
Yeah, you actually go out there and you actually see signs that at one point a bear may have actually used this cave. You find some really old bear scat, and the wild blueberries that grow near here are like a bearish type treat. And then you find this humble but small cave.
Okay, I'll use the Traveler's Any tool that I have to dig an appropriate grave.
Okay, you go into the cave and you scratch at some of the earth and make a little indentation, and just placing his body in there with rocks on top, so that eventually there will just be bones. Is how your people, or at least the people of your tribe, were buried. Offerings can be left.
I'm not sure what offerings I would provide. I mean, ritually, I would cut myself and bleed over the stones, just out of respect. He spent his life for me. I would offer my blood in return. And then I've been keeping a whetstone that I use to sharpen my blade, and I'll leave that on the pile of stones as well. Something that he gave me a long time ago to keep my weapon sharp. Something that would protect him or keep his weapon sharp in the afterlife.
Okay, Christopher, you notice is curiously didn't come into the cave. He seems to be like whistling and kind of lingering outside the cave, wandering back and forth. It's curious that he didn't come all the way in with you. You look down at your hand, and for a brief moment, okay, something's wrong. It's almost like you saw 100 hands all kind of unfold from your hand, like your hand stopped in place but kept on going, and you created more of them. And you look at your other hand, and it seems to be doing this as well. The hand with the dagger in it. You hear the distant sound of a lion. The clarion call of a lion that is scaring away predators. The true lion call. There are now lights in this cavern with you. You see something dancing in your own shadow that plays across the corpse. You only are able to catch a glimpse of her out of the side of your eye. There is something that is happening to your hands, but part of your shadow from the light outside is showing that the thing that is making your hands like stay wherever they're moving is the gigantic outline of a fant with many arms and many trunks that is playing against the wall. And you can see this cat-like woman out of the corner of your eye playing in its shadow. There is a third thing in here. You realize that that's not sunlight. That's the light of another being. It is hard to look at because it is so bright. But you think that in the middle of that light that dances upon your skin, whose light even restores the wounds on the corpse of the Ursine that you are currently bearing. Thurgus, there are 3 divine beings that are watching you bury your companion. Your hand outstretches, and the stones that you had placed with your own hands begin to appear in the form of a gaming board. You have seen this before. You think it's called Onkran Cooley. It's like a complicated version of checkers.
Okay.
Okay, that's trippy. There's this Ontraculi board that appears, but then you go into one of the squares of the Ontraculi, and there's a whole other board there. And then you go down into one of the other squares of the Ontraculi, and there's a whole other board there. But there's something wrong with this board. All of the pieces are white. But they begin taking each other out.
I look at myself first. Am I one of the pieces? Or am I separate?
You're outside the board. You don't see yourself on the
okay.
board. But you see one of the... They were fighting on a white square. And you can see after they end up kind of playing their game board that is the larger square turns black. You look at your blade that is dripping with blood, and you realize that there's a fourth divine presence here, and that is of your god. The blood bear, whose direct lineage is now bleeding and dripping upon the stones that have turned into pieces of game boards within game boards, is letting you know, as one of the drops hits that game board where all the white pieces are attacking each other and ruining the game board above it, and thus ruining the game board above that one. Your god, who is whispered to have fought in 10,000 battles during his previous life, while he was becoming a god, is well suited to recognizing one thing. War is coming to this place. And it will be a ruinous one. Because the white stones will end up fighting the white stones. And darkness will win.
So as I'm holding this blade over the stones and I see the blood dropping, etc., I want to focus on my own awareness of myself, right? The arms had kind of become a distraction. This blood had become a distraction. I want to focus on myself and think about what is my role in this war. I want to visualize myself either as a piece or as the blood falling on the pieces and try and understand what's my purpose.
Yeah, the 100 images of your hand kind of turning into it. You point the dagger down, and your own blood kind of pools at the end of the blade and then drops. And it drops into the board and falls through that board into the smaller board and then falls through that into the really small board where all the white pieces are falling onto each other. And you actually see a little red piece appear in the middle of the board. The red piece is not playing by any of the rules. It seems to be not like in its own square. And all the white pieces go fleeing from the red piece and go back to their ends. They go back to their starting positions. And they don't move anymore. And you see the black piece turn to white. The black square that the board is made out of turns to white. the way it should be.
Interesting.
Okay.
All right, you send Narfad to the afterlife. You feel that the blood bear takes him, and there is a roar from far off, a true lion's roar, like the roar of kings.
You've done well, my friend.
The light recedes as if she listens to the lion's roar and returns to her husband's side. The many hands stop. It is just your hand cut and your blade. And then the black cat, she dances off into the shadows after watching this. Does Thurgus have knowledge religion?
He does.
Could you give me a roll?
Yeah. Give me 1 sec. You want the level 9 stats?
Well, actually, do you have any... Let me say it this way. Do you have any questions about the people that you've almost saw but couldn't quite see in the cave?
I mean, I think I can guess at who the elephant is.
Okay. Yep.
Based on my experience with Buchrabech, I'm going to guess that's Bumpa Dumpa Dumpa.
Yep.
I have no idea who the other ones are, but...
All right, 3 rolls
Thurgus... Okay. Give me 1 second. Do you want the level 9 stats?
then. No, you're already leveled at this point.
Okay. It's just 1d20 plus 5.
Bomba, Bomba, Domba?
Bompa,
9.
Dema, Dumba.
Damn.
9, 24, and 16.
Fortune point on the first one. 9 becomes 11. You're pretty sure the first one was Halcyon, although you don't know anything beyond he's depicted as a lion.
Okay.
24 was the light. That must have been the goddess of healing by Shipe.
Why she pay protect you? Oh my gosh, the spellings. I'm so.
She's
off.
the goddess of light and healing. Her priests in Grand Station, her most holy group are called the Maidens in White or the Baishian Virgins. When these people cross the road, everyone stops out of respect. You come across a Maiden in White, they heal everyone. Good, bad, chaotic, blah. They just
Sure.
bring mercy. You'd likely invite the wrath of many if you were to bother those people. The last one was a 16. You're pretty sure that this was the goddess of shadows and luck. Her name
And are
is
they
is
all-
Araya Sher.
And are they all in some way associated with inherited races?
Halcyon's a lion. Baishipe, you believe, is a cat. Although she's depicted in many other races as well. It's almost like each inheritor race does have it. Araya Sher is also commonly depicted as a cat. Bamba Dama Damba, a fant. Yes, these are all inheritor races. Or, sorry, inheritor gods. These are gods that either created the inheritor... Well, they're the ones that arose after the fall of the Unkwani pantheon.
Yeah, I don't really have any particular questions other than I think my inference would be that Thurgus is coming into this space as something relatively rare, having rescued some interesting folks recently that were all of inherited races, and feeling this attachment to groups of people who have been experimented on and attacked just for their blood. I think he sees this as like he's on the right path, be it vengeance or corrective action, but he has a willingness to not just avenge the bears, but also protect other inherited races. And so he sees this as like either, I guess the question would be, is he on the right track here in terms of should he be concerned with more than just bears? That's what he's thinking. Like, is my role here to protect other inherited races or avenge?
Thinking your tribe's too small. It's all inherited races, not just the bears.
Right.
Huh. Well, isn't that something?
What are you thinking, Christopher?
Oh,
You
no,
think
what are
our
you,
mission
what are
is
you,
to protect the other races?
what are you thinking? Christopher's still not come into the cave.
I'm thinking we need to find every fucker that has threatened the lives of the inherited races, find them, and make them either repent or take their lives by the sword. I'm thinking we need to launch an inquisition of the blood bear.
Huh. And then we're gonna get the fuck out of here, right?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Okay. Sounds good. Inquisitions are messy things.
I'm looking forward to it.
Haha. He's still just sitting outside the cave. He's not
I'm gonna
coming
start
in.
walking out of the cave.
Yeah, he latches onto you when you get out of the cave.
I'll head back.
It's been a long time since I've seen an Inquisition.
It's been a long time since I've heard about one being launched for the blood bear.
Just be careful. They go both ways.
We gotta do it right. We gotta think about it, not go running off and just randomly killing alchemists. We gotta plan this shit out.
Right.
Planning's not really my thing.
Now, if you want those weapons made, you gotta go back to the house.
I think you're right. I
Can't-
think we gotta take some time and learn some patience.
Can't stand out here talking to yourself all day.
Hey, it's not myself. I thought... Yeah, okay. Fine. Just
Oh.
go to the house.
You know, those pretty lights.
That was something. Honestly, for a bit, I thought it was maybe the fruit that I ate. Like, maybe I ate it off that weird tree and I was just tripping balls.
Could have been. Lots of religions start that way.
I should start casting Purify Food and Drink a bit more often.
Christopher doesn't disagree.
I'll head back to the house.
I think this results in a period of intense prayer.
Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be a lot of meditation involved, a lot of collecting his thoughts.
As Thurgus retrains War Priest into Inquisitor. And I believe along with some feat retraining, and this takes most of the autumn for Thurgus to do. Zephyros. You spend some time crafting your Lesser Rod of Empower, and you complete that. Then you spend some time upgrading your spoon, which was the spoon of... What was it called?
It's Jotun. It's Jotun spoon.
Jotun spoon, and
It's a meta magic rod of extend.
Okay, so now that's a true meta magic rod, like as in it goes up to 6 instead of 3.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. I've also got retrain feat by scrolls at the Arcanaecrum and retrain a class feature. So Zephyros is going to take a trip to the Tower of Arcana. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, but You and I discussed this last week. The feat that he wanted to retrain is a mage's feat. I don't think he can retrain that at the Arcanaecrum.
Oh, yeah, they've got, well, is it a mage's power, a class power, and not a feat, right?